from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. This is episode 61. WrestleMania weekend is here. I am joined by Wrestle Reaction's very own, the legendary Frank Manzo. Frank, how are you, man?
Scary to hear legendary and my name in the same sentence, my friend. But I am here. It's going to be a great show. Wayne, it is WrestleMania weekend. That's it. I mean, that is it. That is where we are at. I don't care if you hate WWE's product every week on TV. I don't care if you've got a complaint about the B pay-per-views. I don't care what your complaints are. WrestleMania comes once a year. This is the biggest attraction of the year. I'm a junkie for it. I'm a junkie for sports entertainment through the roof WrestleMania. Okay, I am here for this.
This is Christmas weekend for wrestling fans, regardless. Christmas weekend. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas to you all that are watching right now. And so I think WrestleMania is going to be good this year. And I think back to WrestleMania 31, and a lot of people complained about that card because it was the same matches that we saw the month before, rematches. And I think a lot of people were complaining about that. And unbeknownst to all of us, we got one of the best WrestleManias since WrestleMania 17.
Ever.
So, yeah.
Ever. It's one of the best shows ever.
Love it. 31's right there in the top five.
I can watch it over and over and over again. It is awesome. It's just a great show.
Oh, 17 that is, or 31?
Well, both, but 31. I mean, 17
was great.
Who's going to even put up an argument at this point? But like 31 to me, something about 24 really gels for me. Also, I just feel like there's a lot of great stuff across that whole card. And for me, 31 is the best show since 24. That's my opinion. And it's probably better than 24.
I absolutely agree.
Off the top of my head, like 17, 21, 24, 31, probably my favorite shows since 17.
I can't even argue any one of those. I can't. 17 was great. 24 had some great moments. 31, I wanted to go to 31, but I actually did a baseball trip instead about 2 months later.
The only one I missed.
So I ended up kicking myself for missing that Mania.
Yeah, it was the only one I missed for a number of years because it was just I was starting out a new career and I knew, okay, I'll go next year. And I mean, who the hell knew that San Francisco was going to get that kind of show, man? It was wild.
I remember that. So do you think you're going to do WrestleMania Dallas next year?
I will absolutely be in Dallas. There is no way I'm missing that. That was one of my favorite trips. You could say whatever you want about Mania 32 as a show, but as far as a vacation for me and my wife, that was fantastic. I love Texas. My grandfather was in Texas for a number of years when I was a kid. We went to Dallas all the time. There's something about it that just gels with me. And I have to go. As soon as they announced this year that they were throwing in an audible and getting to Texas again, there's just no shot I'm missing that show. So I'll be there.
I am there. AT&T Stadium. I should get free tickets. I work for AT&T. Oh, man. But AT&T Stadium is such a great stadium to watch an event. I was at 32. 32 wasn't one of my favorite WrestleManias, but the experience. We even drove up to Oklahoma, which is only not even 3 hours away from Dallas to see a Thunder game. There's a lot to do over there.
Wow.
A lot to do. So WrestleMania weekend
barbecue for 48 hours straight, bro.
Oh, we had a great burger in the city of Dallas, by the way. Great food over there.
Pecan Lodge ribs, probably still the best I've ever had in my life.
Really?
We'll go. We're gonna go.
Gotta hit that up. Food's great in Dallas. Dallas, great city. The JFK history is awesome. Well, it's a great. I love the city. Can't wait to get back. that's happening.
We got
a WrestleMania to talk about.
We've got a mixed bag to talk about. It's
Absolutely.
I think the great is great, and I think the crap is crap. That is where we're at with this card.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess we could start with the crap. Let's get that out of the way. I think I'm definitely in the mood for a Manzo rant right off the bat. But Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon.
Yeah, it's my complete despisal of this on this card right now. Most people would be like, "Oh, it's the Bad Bunny match." No. It's not even the Bad Bunny match. I'll get to that, but there's just no reason for this. It is just completely forced. I don't get it, man. I get they wanted to put it together, but they did it very quick. It was very obvious how they were doing it right away. It didn't make for an organic storyline, and it just felt rushed. And nothing about it has been good. This feud is basically about Shane coming out of nowhere to not give Strowman a match that he wanted, and then to proceed to call him stupid for like 3 or 4 weeks. That is where we're at. But hey, we're going to get the first steel cage match at WrestleMania since Mania 2 in 1986.
That's a good fact. Wow. And then we had Undertaker Boss Man, but that was a close.
Hell in a
Cell.
We're talking pure steel cage match, my friend.
See, Undertaker murdered Big Boss Man in that match.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, tag team turmoil, the Riot Squad versus Lana Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus Natalya and Tamina Snuka. The winner gets Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax the next night. Who do you got here? I'm personally not really too invested, if I have to say.
I'm just happy
Natalya
all
and
these
Tamina.
girls. I'm happy all these girls are getting on the card.
Yeah.
Natty brought up a great point with a 2-night WrestleMania that, why are we only doing the women's main singles titles matches? These girls work hard all year. I'm totally down for them to have some undercards. And if it comes with, taking advantage of the 2 nights to do one night being a qualifying number 1 contender match, the next night getting them on there again to have, a shot at the champs. Effectively, one team is going to work both nights at WrestleMania, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, it's probably Natalya and Tamina. I mean, they've gotten the most airtime and importance on the shows on social media out of these groups going into this right now. Great segment with Paul Heyman on Talking Smack. So it's probably them. I could see that.
We got the King Ellie show made a comment. 19 is my favorite. Pretty good WrestleMania. It had some good moments. A couple things didn't connect with Undertaker being in that tag match. I forget his name against Prince Albert and Big Show.
That would be Nathan Jones.
Yeah, Nathan Jones.
All right, we'll talk about 19 quick. Let's do this because I just sensed it in your voice too, and we gotta. I think me and you are gonna connect here. On paper and memory wise, 19's a really good show. But for some reason, it's just not one that I usually go back to watch matches from. I don't know what the disconnect is with me. Meanwhile, that match that you just met, I think it's because Triple H didn't have a great match. Undertaker didn't have a great match. And that's like 2 very key points of a WrestleMania show for like the last 20 years, basically. And it just wasn't a good night for either one of them. Meanwhile, if you go and watch the Taker match for what it is, basically him in a handicap match, it's actually a really good match. And secondly, I think it's the best shape I've ever seen The Undertaker in. I mean, he's like trim and just jacked beyond belief. So it's actually pretty cool to see. Overall, great show. Like, you've got the shooting star press screws up the main event for me. It really is just like a huge thud in a very good match.
Yeah.
Shawn versus Jericho is awesome. Everybody knows that. Rock versus Austin is great. Vince versus Hogan is great.
Great story.
Yeah, it's a very good Mania, but just for some reason, like a lot of people like 22 also, it's another one of those that I think is a good Mania, but it's not like a go-to for me. Like, I just don't go back to it a lot.
I love 22. 22 is pretty good.
I just don't go back to it a whole bunch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch stuff from it once in a while, but like, you know, I'll always go back to 8. I'll always go back to 17. I'll always go back to 21. Like, those are shows that I watch a lot.
8 was a great WrestleMania because you can tell that was kind of like a transitional WrestleMania.
8 is my favorite WrestleMania.
So, like the two eras of the mid-90s and early 90s clashing. There was a transition there.
8 is my favorite WrestleMania of all time. You literally have Hogan, Savage, Warrior, Flair, Taker, Brett, Piper, Tito, Owen, Sid. I mean, just everybody's on this card. And like you said, it's the older era. It's the new generation era.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is on this card. It's just
very unique.
Keenan and Monsoon with the great commentary. Like, it's my favorite Mania. I could recite it in my sleep.
Very unique Mania. You had Undertaker versus Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Those are some classic matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's 30 years now since the streak began. Something nobody brought up this year in stats, by the way, which I thought was pretty weird because, you know, WWE and social media usually like anniversaries and stuff like that. When I was looking through stuff, I said, wow. I said, this is literally 30 years since Taker started this.
Early on in this podcast last year, me and JD, as he's the one that started the show with me and started producing all this. But we talked about how I thought Undertaker was going to have his last match at this WrestleMania coming up, being the 30th year. But, you know, I guess Undertaker just had to call it quits at that point. He knew his time was up.
I'll always be pissed that it didn't happen in front of a live crowd.
I totally agree.
Yep.
I totally agree. That's why I think they're going to hold off Undertaker's Hall of Fame until I think Undertaker gets inducted next year.
Yeah.
Very
but
possible.
Speaking of live crowds, like, let's go into it right now.
Yes.
It's announced official today. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre are going to be the opening match of night 1 of WrestleMania tomorrow night, and it's going to be the first match in front of a live crowd in over a year for WWE. And I think it just worked out fantastic for me, Wayne, because I love Sasha main eventing WrestleMania, and I love Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley with the WWE Championship being that amazingly important first match back in front of civilization after all this time due to COVID-19. I think that's awesome.
I'm very happy for Drew McIntyre because I feel like he took it very hard. He may not admit it, and he alluded to it, but I think he took it very hard, missing out on WrestleMania. I think a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
But, you know what? WWE has a habit of starting championship matches lately to begin the pay-per-view, so I'm down. Let's start the card off hot.
I'm in.
And I think Sasha and Belair, which we'll get into in a few minutes, but I think that they're going to deliver for sure. How about Cesaro versus Rollins?
Is that night 1?
That's night 1.
I am so down with this. I don't know if you got to watch SmackDown tonight, but Rollins did like a political ad commercial against Cesaro. It was fantastic.
No kidding.
Oh, dude. Oh, it was great. It was so great that Fox tweeted it immediately, right? You'll find it on the Twitter account for Fox, WB on Fox. And it was just freaking awesome. It was straight out of like a campaign. It was amazing. And he was talking all this crap about Cesaro never getting a one-on-one match at Mania. And I said about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said, this Mania just got a whole lot better when they filled in some of these undercard matches because these guys, I mean, you're looking at Cesaro and Rollins, which I expect a great match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and off the top of my head, Big E versus Apollo Crews. I mean, those 3, Sheamus versus Riddle, those 4 matches, those 4 singles matches, okay? They're not just throwing these guys into mixed tags and anything garbage just to get them on the show. These are 4 solid singles matches that are really going to help our overall grade and enjoyment for this WrestleMania this year. I knew the top of the card was going to be very good. We know what we're dealing with the crap, which we talked about at the opening of this show. But that middle for me is what usually makes WrestleManias.
Absolutely. There's an interesting point I'm going to make to you a little bit later. There's a very, very interesting observation I'm going to bring up. Yeah, you know what? I feel like the tide has turned. Like the women's matches are going to be more exciting to watch than the Braun Strowman match we're going to get Sunday. So that'll be my bathroom match of the night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night one. Bad Bunny.
Tomorrow night has that and the Bad Bunny match on the show, which
Bad Bunny's been very impressive, they say.
Listen, I'm not against the guy at all. I wouldn't have booked those two matches on the same card because of how things have been with the way WrestleMania has been laid out. I would have separated those two matches. There's one wild card match that I have no idea what's going to go on with, and that to me is going to determine a lot about this show. We'll talk about that. I'm sure you probably have an idea, but I have to say, one, I do not hate this Bad Bunny stuff as much as most people do, because I've been around for a long time and I've watched a lot of celebrities mix up with WB. And this guy legitimately loves the business, knows the business. He's into it. This is not just some filler for some guy getting a payday. This guy wants to be there. Like you said, people are saying he's training hard. And I thought his promo on Raw was actually really good. So I got to tell you, and you know, The Miz is The Miz. He's awesome. He's great at everything he does. This, to me, I'm not hating on this. Is it something I'm dying to see? No. Can it be very entertaining and fill some gap in the show? Absolutely. I'm way more down with that than I am the Strowman match. That just feels so forced.
Originally, and I'm going to get your prediction back to Seth Rollins, Cesaro in a second, but originally they talked about Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison, and then they announced that it was going to be one-on-one, Bad Bunny and versus The Miz. Is it still one-on-one, or is John Morrison cleared? Do we know that if he's cleared to hop in a match and make it a tag match?
I am not sure. We were all expecting the tag match, so this is still pretty shocking.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as I know right now, this is one-on-one. So we'll see what happens there. As far as Cesaro and Rollins prediction, I think of it this way. I think Seth probably wants to give the win. Oh, they did officially change it Monday. Okay, I thought I might have heard that when I was playing.
Thank you, Kicking It Classic with JCD.
Thank you for that, because I wasn't sure. I thought I overheard that when I was playing with the little baby, and I wasn't sure if they did that. That's cool. But nobody else really talked about that all week. I'm shocked. Cesaro and Rollins, I think Seth wants to give the win to Cesaro.
I hope so.
But I think people like Vince are going to say that's ridiculous and that Rollins needs to win. So I think Rollins is going to win.
I hate to say it. I hope we get a classic out of that at least, and then Cesaro's made to look strong. But
right,
you know, this is the problem. This is the problem we've been having for a long time. We're not making superstars. You could kind of help make and elevate Cesaro even more.
Huge
for potential main events for later on in the year.
Yep. Who do you think wins if you have to pick it?
I want Cesaro to win, but you could very well be right. Could be Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah. Raw Tag Team Championship match. In my opinion, I feel like AJ Styles is being wasted here, but I get why they want to build up Omos.
Well,
give them something to do since they're paired together.
Right. I mean, Styles wanted Triple H. That's a fact at this point. And Triple H said that he didn't have the time to get into WrestleMania ring shape, basically, because he wanted to go to the max with AJ. And with all the COVID stuff and everything they're doing in the company right now, he literally told him, I can't do it, but I want to do it in the future. So I hope, as a huge Triple H fan, and obviously I love pro wrestling, so I love AJ Styles. I'm dying for that one next year. Please give me that one next year, because, I mean, you just know that's going to be magic. I mean, it's Triple H and it's AJ Styles. I'm all about it. But
it's a fantasy match.
Huh?
It's a fantasy match.
Oh, yeah. Listen, for me, it's filling in the Shawn Michaels spot. I mean, AJ and Sean are basically the exact same placeholder in a match, in a card, in a roster. They work exactly the same. And Kurt Angle even referenced that recently because he's worked a lot with both of them. But, dude, I'd be dying to see that. But yeah, I mean, Omos is going to make his in-ring debut at WrestleMania, something that only Fandango has done before. And I think AJ and Omos are going to win the belts.
I think so too. I see AJ Styles doing more of the work in this match.
Yep.
John Alba always says on the Living Gimmick podcast, to hide the weaknesses and so you're gonna see Omos do his thing, put some power moves, and then out he'll go. AJ would do a lot of the work. Yeah, I see AJ and Omos winning for sure.
Yep.
That's probably the only thing that's really intriguing me out of that match is to see what Omos does. I like to see, but it's a mystery at this point for now till tomorrow night.
And they'll probably protect that. AJ's going to start that match, have a lot in that match before he even tags him in. You know what I mean? So we'll see what goes on.
The opener match. So back to that, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley defending the WWE title against Drew McIntyre. This is very interesting. I feel this can go either way. Leaning a little towards Drew McIntyre. So they give him his moment that we thought that he was going to get in front of a live crowd last year. But Bobby Lashley just won this thing in February, barely even 6 weeks ago. So what do you think? What do you got here? This is a tricky one.
Imagine Bobby Lashley is the one walking into WrestleMania with the championship belt, the one that's got all the lineage. And I'm not a Lashley hater, but I just never thought they were going to do anything significant with this guy after how many times we've been through this. But kudos to him, man. He's been good.
The Hurt Business has made him look good.
I was just going to say, F everybody backstage who made the decision to break them up because that's utterly ridiculous. They could have looked very strong walking into Mania. And I have to say I am pretty certain that Drew McIntyre is winning this match. I just don't see any other way it should go. Drew gets his moment in front of the crowd, makes up for last year. Another big win for him. Not to say I feel like, Lashley's a placeholder, but it's just setting up that moment. And I think they'll work together again after that. We'll have that post-Mania feud with them and get a couple of good matches out of them even further going forward. So I think McIntyre is going to be the champ. I think it's going to be a feel-good moment to open up the show in front of the fans for the first time in a long time.
Kicking it with Classic, which JCD says, I'm expecting a new Hurt Business Monday night, probably with Lee, or maybe even Corbin thrown in there.
If Lee could even get back. I heard he's still having COVID breathing issues and other stuff, so hopefully, he's a great talent. I hope he gets back soon, too.
Yeah, so I'm fully on board with you with the Drew McIntyre thing. I think Bobby Lashley's title run definitely has legs underneath it, but just given the circumstances and everything, I think Drew gets his win in front of a crowd to open up WrestleMania tomorrow night.
Yep.
What's the start time on that? Is that 7 or 8 o'clock on the Peacock?
The graphic they showed tonight for night 2 said 8 o'clock, so I'm assuming they're going to do that both nights. I don't know. I'm happy they're not doing any pre-show matches. This way Drew gets to be out there first, so that's cool.
I think that's probably part of the reason. I'm thinking that's part of the reason why they threw the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match on SmackDown on Friday night.
But honestly, Wayne, let's get real right now. And my wife and I had this conversation driving around today. We're not cutting time from one night. It's a 2-night event. Even if you didn't want to have pre-show matches, you could have fit those 2 matches from tonight on the card. And I think every guy on the card tonight that should have been on WrestleMania has every right to be heading home to their hotel room pissed off because it's 2-night ordeal they could have been fit into. I just don't think there's any reason for them to have not been on the WrestleMania show.
There's another person I'm surprised about, but Mike Mazza says, "Do we get any surprises like Becky or Ronda showing back up at Mania?"
Well, they already spoiled Becky.
Did they?
Oh yeah, you don't know?
I did not know this.
Okay. She Instagrammed today working out with Tampa, Florida as the location. And then she put an acronym, a whole bunch of like motivational words going straight down, and every single first letter equaled up to night 1. That's exactly what it said. So the
interesting. Where does she come in?
The reemergence of Becky will be tomorrow night. I don't know if they have a close of WrestleMania moment with her coming out after one of the girls wins that match. Or if the rumor is they might do a segment with Bayley and her. Like Bayley might do her show and Becky might come out and interrupt.
That could be, that would make sense.
Yeah.
What's Bayley doing?
I mean, listen, think about the moment at the end of the night. If Sasha or Bianca win and Becky comes back, I mean, you could say it kind of steals their thunder, but at the same time, I think it makes the whole women's division look hot as hell. So, I mean, we'll see. But she basically gave it away. She'll be there tomorrow night.
And Ronda Rousey, I'm not too sure about. I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's the big stage.
She'll be back, but I don't think they're going to throw that in also.
WWE is not. I feel like WWE has a habit of not giving you a whole bunch at one time. So there's too many scenarios. We're lucky if we get one of them. I think the Becky sounds a little bit more realistic for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just watched the Rousey mixed tag match from WrestleMania 34 today, and holy crap, that was just so good.
She surprised a lot of people.
It was just a perfect match. That to me is when, if you want to say like perfect sports entertainment execution, because you've got one of the 4 people in that ring was Stephanie, and we all know she's not amazing in the ring. And the 4 of them just put on an awesome match. I mean, the crowd was going nuts. And it's really about the moments and the psychology and the timing and waiting for the crowd. And I mean, it was a clinic. If you watch that match, you're like, holy crap, this is how to work a whole building. It's really, really good. Really good.
Ronda Rousey, to me, was kind of must-see that year. She was green. She was still must-see. I'm actually looking forward to having her back.
She was part of some of the best stuff that year. That match, and then going into... I'll tell you something right now. There's not a lot of women matches and segments that I've ever gone back the next day to watch again, even if I did like them. There's some for sure, but I still remember this, that Money in the Bank that year, you had a knockout, drag out little like 7-8 minute match with her and Nia Jax. And then you had Alexa coming in to cash in after she just won it that night. And that whole Nia versus Ronda match going into the cash-in is like some of the best stuff you'll watch in WWE in the past like 3-4 years. There's no question. Like you'll go back and watch it and be like, damn, that was friggin' awesome. I mean, Ronda has it. You know what I mean? She just went right into it like Kurt Angle did when she got into the business. And I think her best match is with Sasha at the Rumble. That's my opinion.
Yes, that was a great match. Speaking of your girl.
Speaking of
Sasha
my favorite WWE wrestler right now, and that's not having to use the word women's or women's division or anything. She's awesome, man. She's
versus
awesome.
Bianca Belair. Sasha Banks has been one of the MVPs of WWE this year. She's been great on SmackDown.
Her and Bayley stole the whole summer, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And some complain that they could have had that at WrestleMania this year, and then we got it soon. Well, that was still one heck of a program.
It was great. I think they felt like they didn't have the steam to run it all the way to Mania unless somebody was going to take a lot of time off and come back. I think the plans as we see them now have a lot to do with it because I don't think it would have worked without a Rumble win for somebody. And you could have easily had Sasha or Bayley, injure the other one, put them out for a while, surprise return at the Rumble, win, face the other one at Mania, storybook, beautiful storyline, road to WrestleMania, amazing women's match at the show. That's how I would have done it. They had other plans. They wanted to make Bianca. Now, even if that wasn't set in stone, it was top on the list between probably 2 or 3 ideas for a while, I'm sure. And they went with it. And here we are now. And Bayley doesn't have a match, which sucks. I mean, that's the worst part because she's freaking awesome. I tell you right now, everybody's got like one of those moments where they were dead wrong about something. And I said on Wrestle Reaction probably years ago, I think that girl's in big trouble when she has to become a heel. And way wrong because she's awesome at everything. So really grown into one of my favorites also. But here we are. It's the first ever women's one-on-one main event of WrestleMania. I'm so happy after that very mediocre triple threat at 35 that Sasha wasn't involved in, and she took that to heart. And I'm so happy now she gets to do this. And I got to tell you, my mind is having a tug of war of which way this is going to go, because you can easily see them making Bianca and having her win clean. But at the same time, you could easily see how we all thought that going into Mania 34 with Asuka and Shinsuke, and they both lost. So, Wayne, if I had to bet money, it would be on Bianca Belair, but when Sasha Banks wins, if she does tomorrow night, I will not be shocked. But I'll tell you right now, and you alluded to it earlier, those girls are going to kick some ass tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a great match, and I'm really, really happy they're closing the show.
I think we get a very good match out of them, too. I'm a little concerned the storyline itself kind of fizzled the last couple weeks or so.
Storyline had problems. For me, I don't even think about the storyline. I take it out of play in my mind. All I'm thinking is up-and-coming superstar, going to be a big deal, wins the Rumble, Sasha's the champ, it's Mania, it's main event, the two of them are awesome, let's go. Okay? Because the fact that Reginald was the storyline for 4 weeks, it just goes to show you how bad WWE TV is. Their TV is crap. Their pay-per-views have been outstanding. Their TV shows weekly are complete horseshit. It's terrible to get through. As Michael says it on the screen right now.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. This is a tough one for me to call. I wouldn't be, like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if Sasha Banks wins. I think they're going to go Bianca Belair here. I think Belair is going to get the win here. And
then, I'm not saying this is taken into account in the decision backstage because sometimes it's not. But apparently Sasha's never won a match at Mania. Somebody brought that up to me too. And I'm like, holy crap.
Oh, man. So there's a lot of things to consider here.
Yeah.
Well, listen, for those
if I had to bet, she's going to lose another one. Yeah. Listen, Triple H and Shawn Michaels lost a lot of WrestleMania matches. It doesn't mean that they weren't as big a stars as they were, okay? Edge has lost quite a bit of Mania matches. So there's big stars that have lost a lot of WrestleMania matches.
Who could ever forget Triple H's loss to WrestleMania 12 to the Ultimate Warrior?
Great way to start his career, huh?
Oh yes, and that was his first. That was his first Mania match. Triple H showed up the year before, I believe, that not after Raw, not after Mania, whatever.
Right.
Like you said, at one time I counted a long time ago. Counted Triple H's record. I think it was through halfway through the mid-20s. He was about 3-8. It was about 3-8 leading into like WrestleMania 26, right around that time frame. So Triple H has put a lot of guys over the years.
Yeah.
So before we go into night number 2 really quick, for those of you guys that are watching, make sure you share this with your friends. Help us out. Give us a subscribe on YouTube, because we are going to be back tomorrow with the aftermath of night 1. Tommy will be returning. He took the night off tonight, as I did last night, because we're going at this 5 nights in a row here.
He's not here to make me feel old again by telling me he's a Broncos fan because of Peyton Manning. First time I ever heard that in my life. My God. I was like, what did you just say, Tommy? Oh, my God.
Tommy's been excellent on the show.
Hey, fun fact about Triple H at Mania, by the way. He was the first WWE champion to walk into Mania and out of Mania as champion to retain as a heel.
WrestleMania 16.
Correct.
Yes, and that 4-way, Foley, Rock, and
Big Show.
Big Show.
A McMahon in every corner.
There's something about that. Mick Foley should have been given a belt at No Way Out and let him drop it at Mania.
Yeah.
One little last run, or let him win it at Mania or something, something to that effect.
I don't know. To me, I kind of think they were on the fence with that. Maybe they weren't certain at Mania what they were going to do at that point. With the way that went down, I don't know. Or maybe they just felt the surprise factor was better with him retiring and then coming back for one more match. But that's another Mania that doesn't get much play in my house.
No, you're right. It was the undercard wasn't great. Main event was good, but
there was the triple threat ladder match, the tag match. That's pretty much.
Oh yes, fantastic. I think that was considered TLC 1, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this was TLC. The actual TLC 1 was SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, yes, 2000.
Yeah, and then TLC 2 was the famous TLC that is now everybody talks about from Mania 17.
Oh, fantastic match. Spot with Edge, my goodness.
Dude, WrestleMania history, man. I mean, it's just there's so much good stuff to talk about. Absolutely.
Night 2. I wonder if we get night 1 and night 2 next year, by the way.
No. There's one date. There's one date on the calendar.
You don't think they'll change it last minute?
I don't. I think we're going forward with one date again. I think this is COVID era stuff, and I think it ends next year.
Okay. That's pretty fair.
I don't think he likes it.
I wonder what kind of hoops we're going to have to judge, and that's another whole nother topic, but I wonder what kind of hoops we're going to have to jump through next year for that. But we'll see.
Yeah, let's not get Manzo started on vaccines and politics.
It's a good thing is we agree on a lot. Love that. Love it.
Hey, listen, and don't take that the wrong way, any of the viewers or listeners, because I want you to all be able to make a decision for whatever you want to do. That's fine with me. That's all I'm going to say.
I think we could all agree is we want this gone. We want the problem solved, and I can't wait until we get back to a packed stadium. And I'm hoping it's next year.
I flirted with the idea of going to Tampa right now.
I did. Tickets went on sale too late.
Flights are cheap. Yeah. And I have a shitload of vacation time I can take. But at the same time, limited stadium, the card wasn't totally appealing to me at the time that I was thinking about it. I love going with my wife and my family. That wouldn't be possible because I'm not putting a 2-year-old on a plane, because then I'm going to be one of those viral videos as the father who flips out on the flight attendant crew. So we're going to not do that. And I'm going to watch it from my couch. But yeah, I mean, Tampa, Florida, cheap airfare, WrestleMania. I would have went, but, I was like, you know what? Leave it alone. And I said, then all I'm thinking is Dallas, baby. Let's do Dallas. So, but you know what? For the people that are there, have a great time, have fun. Possible thunderstorms. In fact, a heavy percentage is predicted right now for Sunday for night 2, Wayne. So, yeah, WrestleMania is back in front of people, and we might have a little issue here for night 2.
Don't forget about the year after, LA. LA is fantastic.
Never been.
Oh my goodness. WrestleMania, to Venice Beach, all those places you got to start. But
I want to go. I want to go. I'm not 100% certain about that one. We'll see where life is at that point. I think I'm going to be moving out of New York by then. But
I'm right behind you, probably by WrestleMania 39. I'll be.
Yeah, my deal is I don't want to see 2023 in New York.
I'm probably about a year behind you.
Yeah,
I'll be 2024, I think, at the latest.
So that's going to be a major factor with that one. I won't miss Dallas for anything next year, though. No way. That's going to be fun.
Los Angeles is great. The only knock is to plan properly. The traffic is horrendous going into
supposedly as a New Yorker.
That neighborhood. LA is worse.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Night number 2. Here we go. Women's Tag Team Championship match. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the winner of tomorrow's Tag Team Turmoil. I honestly think Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retain.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yep, correct. I don't think there's an investment enough in any other team to make a moment or anything right now. So,
right.
I just want to come on this show again for the second time in a row and say that it's absolutely awful that the Iconics are split up, and it's the stupidest thing that they've done in a long time.
Oh, another stupid thing they've done was break up the Hurt Business.
Oh, yeah. Well, and by the way, I'm more of a Peyton Royce fan, but there was a Hall of Fame picture that Billy Kay put up the other day in a dress. Holy smokes. You want to talk about a girl who looked like 10 out of 10? Woof.
Get out of here.
Beautiful. Like ridiculous. And I'm more of a Peyton guy. I definitely am more.
I'm more of Peyton too, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm gonna send you that picture after. You're gonna say, "Damn." I am for as dirty as a dog as I am. I love seeing chicks dressed up like that for cocktail party, Hall of Fame. So when you get to see the WWE girls like that, I'm all for it. They were stunning the other night. Most of them. Oh my Lord.
Especially the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had the pleasure of Miami to see in Miami. Seeing them all up close, walking right into the arena. Every single one of them. Everybody.
That's the only Hall of Fame that I've went to was Miami.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame this year?
I did. I ate dinner in the other room listening to the first 2, so I didn't get to visualize that. I heard it though, and I just sat around playing with the baby and hanging with the family and watching it the rest of the night. Yeah, I saw pretty much all of it.
I feel like I wasn't really too invested in this year.
I mean,
I'll go back and watch later.
First of all, someone coming up and giving an induction speech about someone else is such a great thing. We missed all of that. And everybody got to speak for 5-10 minutes. So it really wasn't. What the hell can you do in an acceptance speech in 5-10 minutes? Thank you. Thank this person. I started out here. I went there. Thank you. This great moment in my career, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just it's just very generic for everybody. It was very but I'm so happy to see Eric Bischoff go in. That was my highlight. There's something about Bischoff. I'm drawn to him. Love his personality. And listen, I think he's the most important non-wrestler in the history of the business besides Vince McMahon.
I agree.
I mean, he changed the whole business. There's just been nobody else since I've been alive that has been able to actually give the WWE competition and literally change the model. So I'm very happy to see him go in.
Controversy creates cash.
Yep.
A friend of mine, Randy, he runs the Cut Pro Wrestling podcast. You guys should check that out. He gets some wrestlers here and there. Had John Pierre Lafitte most recently, and some of the indie guys, Thunder Rosa. But he has connection with Eric Bischoff, and he says Eric Bischoff is generally a very nice, down to earth guy in real life, and I can see it.
Yeah, I met him at Wally Mania in Orlando for Mania 33. And John Alba and Doug were interviewing a whole bunch of people. And right before they got to interview Bischoff, I just grabbed him on the side and started just BSing with him about my middle school days and watching the NWO and, just great stuff like that. He was awesome. I mean, just a great guy. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell.
I thought, and I'm pretty sure that is where we first met in person. WrestleMania 33. Billy Gunn was in the room with his sons. They're now in AEW. It's the Gunn Club. Adam Cole walked right by me. I couldn't believe it.
Wasn't at Wally Mania. That was at
it was
LeBar and Eisenberg's pre-WrestleMania show at the Wing Place.
Yeah.
Adam Cole and Britt Baker were there together that day.
I did not realize she was there. Wow.
Yep.
I was looking down. I was
telling my wife last night. I was like, when we were watching Cole, I was like, you remember when we were literally hanging with them at the party and they were like not even big time names yet? And he was ROH. I mean, everybody knew it's Indies, but he wasn't NXT, he wasn't WWE. She wasn't huge yet either. And look at both of them now. That's a power couple. They both are amazing.
That was good. That was a good day. They're both tearing it up right now in their own lanes. Oh boy. United States Championship match, Riddle versus Sheamus. I expect this to be stiff at times, very hard hitting.
Expect them to beat the shit out of each other.
Sheamus has done some good work this year.
Same thing I didn't get to mention with Drew and Bobby also. I mean, that's gonna be a beatdown. Like, that match and the Riddle match are going to be physical.
Oh, absolutely. I think you got to give this match 15 to 20 minutes for sure. I'm not too sure.
They won't.
I know. WWE doesn't.
They will not. You will get, like, I'm telling you right now,
8 minutes.
Yeah, 9-10 minutes tops. That's it. You're not getting that with that. No way.
It's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
There's not going to be
go for 30, 40 minutes.
There's not going to be a lot of matches that are going to go over 15 minutes on these cards. I'm telling you right now. You'll get it out of your main matches, but, like even – and I'm worried about that with Owens and Zayn. I don't think they're going to get enough time to put something together great either. Like, I think it'll be a good match, but, those two can really – and now you got this whole Logan Paul thing, and they're going to make this into a gimmick-type bullshit match instead of really just getting into a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens deal at WrestleMania. It's just, like Rollins and Cesaro, 12 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to –
It's a shame.
Yeah, they're not – I'm telling you, they're not going to give you much here. But listen – I remember being a kid because everything's different when you're a kid, and time feels completely different than it does when you're an adult. I remember when you're a kid, like, you think these matches are on for so long, and sometimes you'll go and look, and it was like, oh, that was a 12-minute match. You know what I mean? It's a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get a great match sometimes in 12 to 14-minute range. That's not a problem. It's these 6-minute jobs that they do to people on Raw that really screw things up. But your big matches, expect your 18 minutes to 22 minutes. Like, if you ever want to look at like how WWE times a show, go and look at Wikipedia for Mania 29. Rock versus Cena, Punk versus Taker, and Lesnar versus Triple H are all within a couple of seconds of each other at the 22-minute mark. Every one of those matches.
Wow.
That's the spot. That's the sweet spot. It's like 17 to 22 for like a big Mania match. They really don't do more than that. And if they do, it's people going over and getting yelled at backstage like Sean used to do. So, yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of these 10 to 12-minute jobs.
You know what the problem is, before we move on to the next thing, is WWE has a lot of time, a big habit of wasting a lot of time with BS. Just look at WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta. I'm sitting there. The Rock opens up the show. Awesome, great. I love The Rock. But that took up the first half hour of the show. That didn't need to happen. And it could have been another match there.
That overstayed its welcome so bad. If you want to see how to do it the right way, just fast forward to Mania 30 when you had Rock, Austin, Hogan, and they didn't overstay their welcome. It was good. It was a good amount of time, but then it was gone. But Mania 27, that's a bad show, first of all.
Couple cool moments, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I mean, dude, listen.
Undertaker Triple H.
Taker and Triple H is amazing. Punk versus Orton, very good. Go watch. You want a great undercard match at Mania to watch? Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio that year is excellent.
Yeah. And
Edge versus Del Rio is a good match. It was better last time I watched it than I remember it being. So, but just overall, not a great Mania.
Yeah, the main event, Cena Miz, kind of lost me a little bit there, and Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole, going for a half an hour.
Yeah, oh, dude, that's the abomination of that show right there. I don't know how the hell they did that.
I will say, though, I love the whole Cole Miner stuff with his own little plexiglass leading up to
the everybody thought that stuff was good, and we all wanted to see him get his ass kicked. But, like, could you imagine how long it went on for? And it was just, that was bad. That was bad.
So I have a feeling I have Sheamus winning that match against Riddle. He's been doing some good work. Who do you got with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn as your winner there?
I got to go KO.
Yeah.
I got to go KO. It feels like that. Listen, when they involve celebrities, the good guys don't lose. Because there has to be that feel-good moment at the end where, they have a celebration with the celebrity who's there. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that's what has to happen here.
We also got... Okay, so you may have to explain this to me, but a Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship, Big E versus Apollo Crews.
Was that a Viagra?
Is it Viagra on a pole?
Okay. What the hell?
It's a Nigerian drum fight.
And by the way, I'm not making fun of Apollo Crews' gimmick because I happen to think that's pretty cool, by the way.
Yeah, I like it.
I dig it. And a lot of people don't, and I think it's pretty damn cool.
I like it so far.
I think it works. I
love its presentation.
I think it just, for me, it's sports entertainment. He gets in the ring, he gets it done in the ring. He's a great worker. And then you have that presentation, like you just said. I think it works. I actually do. I don't know what the hell that is, but I'm hoping they put out a great match because these two are capable of a very good match. There's no question.
I'm wondering if somebody gets thrown into a drum here. I'm not too sure exactly what this is. I think Apollo wins, though. I think he gets his IC win here.
Do you?
Yeah. I would have not said that a long time ago. I feel like he's got momentum. He's got presentation. Something's finally clicking. With me, especially me as a fan, something's resonating. Like, I like this presentation.
Right.
Apollo Crews is serious now. He's been learning how to hold back that smile. And I know at times where I could see him fighting that temptation, always smiling. I can see him fighting it, but it's resonating with me. I like this gimmick.
Yeah.
He's been working so hard.
Yeah.
I think you got to give the win to Apollo, have him run through maybe SummerSlam.
You could be right. I tend to believe that supposedly they have a lot of stock in making Big E into a bigger star, and I think it's his first time that it's Mania and he's a singles competitor, and I think that he's going to get the win.
Yeah, that's a very good point too. Both guys are, they want to make Big E a star, and listen, even if Big E loses, you can always move him on to the next thing and then move him into the main event because the main event scene's got to get fresh
after this.
It's got to freshen up, especially on the Raw side, which will make fun of a little later. But Randy Orton versus the Fiends.
This is the wild card. This is the wild card, Wayne. This is the one that I don't know what is going to go on here. Personally, I think they should do another Firefly Funhouse match like last year. I think this is still a perfect setting to do it. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be out there in front of a limited capacity crowd for every other match. It's a 2-night ordeal. Nothing else like that is booked. Not like last year where we had the graveyard match. But I think they could have done it. And Randy Orton's got a long history in the company. They could have played on a lot of the same retro stuff that they did with John Cena. And I think it would have been very cool. There's also rumors that this new damaged Fiend is not Bray Wyatt, and it's actually Bo Dallas dressed up in that, and that Bray Wyatt's going to come back in the original Fiend gear, and there's going to be two of them at the same time. So that would be cool as hell. Listen, I think Randy Orton's one of the best ever. I think he's a huge star. I think Bray Wyatt is awesome. Folks, this is what always makes me laugh about bad wrestling fans. All you see is bad wrestling fans like flipping through bad wrestling facts and like, Bray Wyatt lost the most matches on TV in the year 2019, and this is ridiculous, and they bury him and everything else. Wayne, my friend, would you like to go through Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania history with me and show you how powerful this man has been booked for his entire career as Bray Wyatt? Okay, let's start it right now. Mania 30. Match 1. John Cena. Mania 31.
Taker.
Undertaker in his first match since losing the streak. Okay. Mania 32. Partially injured. Segment with The Rock and John Cena in the biggest indoor American attendance record WrestleMania of all time. 33. Walks in as WWE champion to face Randy Orton. 34. The only one that you can say, didn't do so well, but he won the Battle Royal. 35. Didn't do anything. 36, Funhouse match with John Cena. So think of the names that I just mentioned that this guy has worked with at WrestleMania. And again now, he's going to go with Randy Orton, who's another huge name. So you can tell me all you want that Bray Wyatt's been booked to shit and everything else, and they ruined this guy and this and that. He's the only person in wrestling history to win major championships in basically two different gimmicks. Okay? Because there was Bray Wyatt and then there was The Fiend.
Wow, what a point.
They love him. They love the guy. There's nobody like him in the company right now. There hasn't been for a long time. That's huge booking. There's people that would kill to have that WrestleMania booking for the past.
No doubt. No doubt.
I don't care what he loses on Raw.
Unbelievable. That is
what's going to happen on Sunday, because they can either make this really stupid again, like that bad match that they had in Orlando with all the graphics on the mat that I wanted to scream.
Oh, I know. I didn't see that. I saw it on the screen. Match. Yeah, your vantage point was a little different than mine. I was on the floor, so I didn't see that. I saw it on the screen. But you were one level up, so you had the bird's eye view. How did that look from where you were sitting, by the way?
It looked just like it looked on TV.
Okay.
It looked just like it looked. Like you could see the image across the whole mat and the bugs and all the bullshit they were doing, and it just sucked. And, you just have to hope that whatever silliness, gimmick stuff that they're going to do with these two, that it comes out well on Sunday, that they do it, the right way and not too over the top and not ridiculous. And I know not ridiculous is asking a lot from WWE, especially when they're playing with a character like The Fiend and Bray Wyatt. But that, to me, I got to tell you, is especially for Sunday, because Sunday's card is so stacked to me. That, to me, is going to kind of make or break the show, because it's just there's a huge question mark over my head. Like, is he going to come out still burnt? Are there going to be two of them? Are they going to do a funhouse match? Like, just what exactly is going to go on here? And they had no segment for them on Raw. Literally nothing else. They just did a promo package for them leading into this Mania match. So that's my big question mark over my head for this weekend.
I got the Fiend winning in whatever we see this Sunday. I think Bray Wyatt's going to get a win here. And you're right. That's a good point. We very well could see some shenanigans with two Fiends in the ring. Kind of reminds me of WrestleMania 9 with the two doinks.
I was thinking that also.
That was my first WrestleMania, by the way.
First one you ever saw?
First, I became a fan in '93. First one I've ever saw was WrestleMania 6. Because I went back in the archives. It was like 3 years prior. I watched WrestleMania 6, and that's kind of what got me in. But '93 was my year.
I started like casually watching on and off probably around 90, 91.
Okay.
I got that original black hard case VHS tape, the best of WrestleMania, and it only went through 1 through 7. And it basically had like the King Kong Bundy WrestleMania 2 match, the NFL Star Battle Royal, Hogan versus Warrior, and then Warrior versus Savage for Mania 7 was the most recent match on there. And I played that tape. My God, I don't even know how it still lasted the film in there. And Mania 8 was the first Mania I remember watching live. So that's why it's still very special to me. But yeah, we're a year apart in that. I feel bad for you about WrestleMania 9 being your first because I got 8, okay? But I remember watching 9. I was very mad at my parents. They decided to go on a trip by themselves to Las Vegas on the week that WrestleMania was there.
No kidding.
And did not take us. So we were pissed. And then my mom's like calling me. She's like, oh, yeah, I can see out of my hotel room window. There's the Mania set right there. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
So, and I'm watching it at my grandmother's house, who's babysitting us for the week. And they're in Vegas next door when Mania is going on. So, but you know what? I didn't miss much, I guess, right?
Spoiler alert. I'm calling it right now. Unless they do something with WrestleMania 40 in New York. 41, Las Vegas. Happening. Book it.
And I've never been there.
And so I've never been there either.
Yeah, there's no way I'm missing that. And I told Maria recently, I said, I'm not even going to think about going anytime soon because this is just going to be the perfect opportunity to go. To go there and have Mania, I'm there. You just don't even.
That is a dangerous place. I am leaving my credit cards home. I am bringing cash, a debit card. I am going to bring the least money possible because, oh, man.
I'm good with that. I got to tell you, I'm like I'm the least addictive personality that there is, man. Like I've walked into, Atlantic City Mohegan Sun for the weekend and like planned to gamble and like lost what I planned to gamble the whole weekend and like the first night and like literally never went back to the tables because I'm just like that. So I have my number. It goes away. I'm done and point me to the steakhouse or whatever else is going on because, you know what I mean? Like I'm done. But like, it's gonna be an awesome trip. I can tell you we'll be getting wasted and some good restaurants and hanging out and all that stuff. But yeah, gambling not my thing. So thank God.
I had to be careful. There's a place called Jake's 58, not too far from here.
I know where it is.
I tried a little, and I don't know, going there. It's a little sketchy, but I went in there once, and the little Russian roulette. I felt myself getting a little attached, so it could be a little. I don't know.
Did you
gotta be careful. I'm nervous about that stuff.
Now?
Yeah.
I have the Sports World right next to my house, basically. And I've never even been in the place. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I don't go out of my way for it. I think it was that one night I went, it was just something to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pass it
NFL betting
Sunday.
NFL betting is like the most trouble I ever get into. Like, and I don't even get into trouble, but like once the season's over, like you don't even see me place bets until like next September or October. Like I'm done. I don't care about anything else. So I have a little fun with football. It makes the day more fun.
Did you bet on the Super Bowl?
Did I bet?
Yeah.
I did.
Because I would have bet and put a lot of money on KC. And if I would have, I would have lost a lot.
I lost $300 on that game. They were -2.5. And I felt that it was going to be a very competitive game and that I had a shot to win. And I don't do bets that big usually, but I always do something bigger for the Super Bowl because it's the last one for me for a long time. And, we're talking about Mahomes getting there 2 years in a row, getting to the AFC Championship before that. And he's just been outstanding. And I don't know. Listen, there's two sides to that game.
Yeah.
Brady was amazing. Tampa was amazing. They showed up to win. No question. Kansas City, I don't know what the hell that was. That game was over by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, who would have thought they were down offensively?
Nobody. I mean, that should have been like, to me, it was like, oh my God, this game is going to be amazing. I mean, the whole week I'm thinking this is going to be like one of the best Super Bowls in a long time. God, that was terrible. So, and I would have not cared about losing the $300 if it would have just been competitive, right? But, like I said, I basically lost $300 in the first quarter. So, yeah.
Ouch.
It's okay. It's all right.
Two more matches. Raw Women's Championship match. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
No way they screw Rhea Ripley 2 years in a row. She has to win.
I agree. After what happened last year, the backstory.
That was shocking, by the way. Shocking.
She should have not lost last year.
No. And it derailed her for a while.
I still feel like there's maybe a little bit of a lasting effect there.
Yes.
But that could all be corrected.
She was at a level that she has come back up, but she has not gotten back there again. I do agree with that.
I think Sunday can fix that. I think Sunday can help fix that with the win over Asuka.
I feel like she was at an 8, and she's at about a 6 or a 7 right now, going back up. And I don't rely only on Sunday to fix that. I need a couple more good steps after that win. You know what I mean? She's got to be featured. Like, you got to see them really rolling with her. And I think I don't want to sound wrong when I say this, but I think she's changed her look a little too much. Like, to me, she was always the very attractive girl that was dressing and doing the makeup and the hair and everything a little different than everybody else, and maybe even a little bit masculine, but it worked for her because she was so actually pretty. And I think she's just gotten a little too carried away with the look and making herself a little bit too masculine now. And I think it's taking away from her overall appeal. Like, she's supposed to be that alternative, hardcore, rocker, short hair type. I get it, and I like it. I think the girl is very pretty, but I just think, like, I liked Rhea from last year. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
There's just something there that, like, I don't know. Like, I think I need her to roll back a little bit.
I think she's got a little bit of like a Ruby Riott going on, a little kind of sort of.
Yes, and it did not need to get to that point. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, very good. You get this. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board. I liked Rhea Ripley's look last year.
Some asshole, listening to your show right now is going to be like, look at this guy ripping some woman's appearance and everything else. And, listen, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'm not talking about that, okay? I'm just saying, like, from a marketing standpoint, you can be different, but you still have to be within a certain range. You know what I mean? Not everybody has to be the middle, which is like, I don't know who's like the most like American smiling white good looking guy. Roman's Samoan, so it's a little different. Maybe like a Rollins is kind of like the middle. My wife seems to think he's very attractive. You could go left and right of that to like some kind of alternative look, be unique. There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah. I just think she went too far with it. Like you said, like that Ruby Riott type thing. Yeah, I agree with that.
Ruby Riott can only pull off Ruby Riott.
Yes. And I think Liv Morgan being back with her is now going too far into that also. Like, it's kind of taking away from her appearance, because that girl could literally be just the most drop-dead gorgeous girl on the WWE roster.
Oh, I love her. She's gorgeous.
I mean, just like, if you ask me right now, like, take one. For me, it's Sasha or Liv Morgan, and I don't know. I got to figure that out somehow. But, like, those two, Holy Lord.
Oh, I do not disagree. Triple threat match for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan versus Edge. So many little storylines, so many routes
What do you
that
got,
they can
Wayne?
go here. Oh my goodness. I have a feeling, oh man.
Come on.
I'm going to say Roman loses the title. He gets it back before the summer. But God, I got to go Daniel Bryan for one last title run for just a little while.
Roman Reigns retains.
Could happen. He's doing one heck of a job on SmackDown.
I have felt it the whole way. I think it was going to be that way even if Edge faced him one-on-one. And I think they just sprinkled a little Daniel Bryan mix into this to make everything better and sexier and more appealing and even a more fun match than the Roman Edge match would have been. I think this is going to be awesome. I think this match is going to be fantastic. I am so hyped for this three-way. I think this is great. I love Edge being back. I love Bryan being a couple years out of retirement and being back. I mean, he's literally now been in 2 main title matches since he returned at Mania, Kofi Mania, and now this. This is fantastic. I love this. I love that they added him. And I got to say, I think the big dog is retaining here, man. This is it. Roman's going to go over 2 of the best in the business. Because I think that Bryan doesn't need to go any higher than he is. I think that Edge is here to solidify a lot of other people and just live out his dream of still being Edge and getting to wrestle and doing the job he's loved all his life. But I think if you put all 3 of them in the room and gave them the decision to who would win, I think Bryan and Edge would both say to give it to Roman. I really do. So, and I think Vince sees that too. So I'm very strong that Roman Reigns is going to keep this title.
Very well. And like I said, if he does lose, I think he gets it back relatively quick. Definitely before summer. But I mean, Roman Reigns has done one heck of a job. And someone even went on saying, I forgot who it was. It could have been from Living the Gimmick, but that Roman could very well hold the title till next year. I mean, who knows? Maybe maybe we're in the middle of a long, slow burn right now that we don't that some people aren't even seeing, but it's happening right now where Uso turns on Reigns and gets built up till next year's WrestleMania as a possible backup plan if they don't get the Rock.
And then you always have that rumor about the LA show being Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I think Roman is going to keep this for a while. I do.
It's possible, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
You've got so many titles on the roster that it doesn't matter if you have somebody run with the belt for a long time, because back in the day there were 3 belts, and if nobody changed anything, it seemed like it wasn't exciting. But now you've got. Oh my God. I mean, I was just, like I said, I was just watching Mania 34 today. There was hardly a match on that show that wasn't for some kind of belt. I mean, it was like 12 title matches that night or something like that.
Yeah, Braun Strowman and Little Nicky in the tag title match.
Little Nicky. Get in the flask.
Oh man, after we had this discussion, I feel like you're right. Night 2 could very well be the night. It looks like
night 2 on paper is much better. Night 2 on paper is much better. And Orton and Fiend is going to basically, be good or shit the bed. It's not going to be anything in between, and it's going to be probably what we rate the night on. But night 2 for me, Mike, I don't see Lesnar coming back in this show. I don't. I see Lesnar coming back in the future, or maybe even the next night on Raw if they're going to do like an old-fashioned big Raw. You know what I mean? First of all,
I agree.
We haven't gotten a good post-Mania Raw in a long time. That ship has sailed. mean, there was a couple of years straight that was like the night to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
It is really gone downhill. Yeah, I don't see it for Mania. I don't see Lesnar coming.
Although last year we did have the shocking announcement that Becky was pregnant. And then Drew McIntyre had that title.
No. Becky was the night after Money in the Bank. Because Asuka.
Oh, you're right.
Asuka cashed in right then and got the belt because she had the briefcase.
Yeah, the only thing they really did last year was they hyped up Drew McIntyre versus Big Show. And I didn't read any of the spoilers, but I was scared for that match. So
you mean that we found out that there was a hidden in the vault WrestleMania main event match that we didn't watch the night before, and it was on the WrestleMania? That still pisses me off to this day. So, what does the record book say? Did that match take place on Raw? Did it take place at Mania? It's so ridiculous. I was losing my mind that night when that happened. I was just are you effing kidding me right now? They could have just had Big Show come out and challenge him that night and just done it on Raw. Why did it have to be a Mania? Oh my God, there was another main event last night. None of you guys know about it until right now. What the fuck? What was that? That was bad. That was really bad.
That was bad. They could have done that better, for sure.
And I don't know why Lesnar and Drew McIntyre had to be a 5-minute match either. Those guys can have a good match.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out, there's something that's very obvious about this card, and Mike brought it up before, just read my mind. SmackDown has had the much better booking going into WrestleMania than Raw.
Wayne, it's across the board. SmackDown is the better show. There's nothing to talk about. They're the better show. They are the better TV. It's easier to get through. The segments mean more. I don't know. I don't know who thinks Raw is a good show. I don't know who puts that together and finishes the night and oh yeah, that was great. I don't get it. I mean, listen, we've all done things in life that sucked when we tried to do it, whether it was a interview for a job or an episode of Wrestle Reaction or whatever the hell it was. You turn it off, but you got to be honest with yourself and say, oh my God, that was the shits. You know what I mean? But I guess nobody does that on Mondays because they just keep putting out the same stuff every week, and they have nobody but the never going away loyal wrestling fans. That's the only people who watch that show now. They're not going to go away. Apparently, there's 1.7 million people on Mondays that are left that will never tune out of Raw. And that's it. You've lost everything else.
It has gotten very bad. If I'm WWE, if you're calling up guys from NXT, you need to get them on Raw, give Raw a shot in the arm, and you need to change that booking team. My goodness.
The split roster is hurting WWE. It hurts WWE every time they do it. I was so pissed a few years ago when they went back to it. You're handicapping your own company. You don't have a full sheet of paper with all the guys. You can't mix a different feud out of nowhere. This guy's on the blue brand. This guy's on the red brand. They can't touch each other. He works here. He works there. What the hell are we doing? I mean, just stop.
This is ridiculous. And the whole original reason for the roster split was because there was no more WCW, no more ECW. So they created this little competition within themselves. And this is going on for nearly 20 years now. It's enough. The tag team division's hurting. The mid card you can fix. The main event. The tag team division's hurting. The women division's hurting. And Raw is getting killed.
Imagine trying to tell, in character, Stone Cold Steve Austin that, oh, you're on this show, you can't show up on the other show. What are we doing? What are we doing? What if Seth Rollins wants to take his ass to Raw and challenge this guy and start a feud with this guy or jump this guy? Just go do it. Just write it and just go do it. They don't intermingle enough. If you need to split this roster, which you don't, but if you need to because Vince says you have to, start making some moves. Start moving people around. Start having people interfere. Make the announcers go crazy because why the hell is he here? He doesn't work on this show, blah, blah. I mean, didn't they learn anything from Scott Hall walking into Nitro? I mean, come on, bro. Like, I can't take it because I know if you have 20 guys on the roster, you're sitting backstage and there's 10 on one sheet, 10 on the other. You can't mix them. Now you have to do the same goddamn matches over and over again. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense what they've done with this split roster.
Mike, that would be a very good idea.
It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. I'm surprised we even met the Jericho interview.
I don't think it ever happens on Vince's watch.
I don't think it ever happens, period.
But, well, Frank, is there anything else that we need to cover? I think we pretty much nailed the WrestleMania card. This is going to be a very exciting weekend for sure. I'm hoping the rain holds up on Sunday to get a little golf in before Mania. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I got to watch the bowl in US Open. That'll be my day before Mania.
And you still got to watch Night 1 at TakeOver.
Oh, that's going to happen. Probably when I get home from work tomorrow. We'll see. But, yeah. If anything, I'll just sneak in Walter versus Ciampa because I got to watch that.
NXT delivered, and, man, what a way to start this WrestleMania week. Unbelievable. Such a good job done by that talent that got lined up for Night 1. Unbelievable. Oh, man, it's so good. It's a show I will revisit and probably in the very near future too. So, Frank, I think you're going to enjoy that.
I will let you know when I watch.
For those of you watching Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Help us out. Feel free to subscribe, share with your friends. The WrestleMania predictions. You know what? Frank and I think we called a lot of good stuff that's going to happen. And I think we nailed it. I think we're going to be on point with a lot of stuff. I'm very excited for this weekend for sure. As soon as I get out of work tomorrow night, my butt is headed right home to right in front of the TV. WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre Lashley opening up Mania. It's going to be an exciting weekend for sure. Frank, episode 61 does not happen without you. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Happy to be here always.
Those of you guys that are watching, tomorrow night there will be an aftermath show discussing what happened in Night 1, same as Sunday night, and our podcast next week, episode 62. Then we're taking a vacation because we've been at this. We will be at this for like 5-6 nights in a row by the time Sunday comes, but we love it. And we enjoy doing this, and we're thankful to have you guys on and commenting tonight. And Frank, thank you again, and we will talk to you all soon.